The Legacy Files with Grant Cameron.
Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Grant Cameron. I'm joined by my assistant and co-author, Desta Barnaby. We're doing another version of Yankee Black Paranormal News, and I want to talk about the recently released UFO report that was put out in Canada that we have known about for a number of years. We actually knew a year before it actually started that they were going to do this. And it's put out by the science advisor to the Prime Minister of Canada. And I want to share screen on this. And I need to, hang on, need to share the audio too. Hang on. Share, where's the audio button? Oh, shoot. Share. Where's the share audio? Documents advanced. Share sound. Okay. So let's go to what I'm doing is on my Twitter and on my Facebook page. You can see I'm posting quotes from Wilbert Smith. So basically, what happened is Dr. Mona Nemer came forward and released this report and basically said that Wilbur Smith discovered nothing and that he did a part-time investigation. So we put out a book, Desta and I put out a book called the Canadian Government UFO Program story that tells the whole story, the real story of what actually happened. And you can see my screen.
Yeah, but do you want to put the so it goes to a full screen? Yeah, I think you have to put like
Yeah, okay.
start. Yeah, there you go.
So this is the book that we released, and it has the true story, other than the story that the Canadians are putting out now that Wilbur Smith didn't discover anything. And I'm putting up a number of quotes from Wilbur Smith on different things, hardware, on the program. But I've got a new intro to my podcast. It won't be on the YouTube, but an interesting addition. This is done through AI, through Mark Sims and a very young assistant that's working for him. This is the top secret memo. This is an AI version of Wilbur Smith, which sounds exactly like Wilbur Smith. And this is my new intro to the podcast. And this is one of the quotes that they would never say in a million years. They say nothing happened. Here's the real story. This is a part of a top secret memo from November of 1950. This is Wilbur Smith reading the memo.
I made discreet inquiries through the Canadian Embassy staff in Washington, who were able to obtain for me the following information. Point A. A matter is the most highly classified subject in the United States government, rating higher even than the H-bomb. Point B. Flying saucers exist. Point C. Their modus operandi is unknown, but concentrated effort is being made by a small group headed by Dr. Vannevar Bush. Point D. The entire matter is considered by the United States authorities to be of tremendous significance. I was further informed that the United States authorities were investigating along quite a number of lines which might possibly be related to the saucers, such as mental phenomena, and I gather that they are not doing too well, since they indicated that if Canada is doing anything at all in geomagnetics, they would welcome a discussion with suitably accredited Canadians. That was my top secret memo, written in November 1950 for the Controller of Telecommunications, C.P. Edwards. On the surface it has 4 main points, but really it has 5. The 5th is my point about the mental phenomena. Let me read that part to you again. I was further informed that the United States authorities were investigating along quite a number of lines which might possibly be related to the saucers, such as mental phenomena. So as you can see, my top secret memo really has 5 main points, the fifth being the mental phenomena. In today's discussions about flying saucers, the mental phenomena still needs more attention. People are interested in the hardware, or the nuts and bolts, the so-called hard science. But I received information from the Americans right from the word go that mental phenomena was important. Grant's been saying this all along, so listen up.
Okay, so that's the new intro. And again, you see that it's completely the opposite. They said nothing was discovered by Wilbur Smith, who ran the Canadian UFO program from 1950 to 1954. It's exactly the opposite. He said he believed it was extraterrestrial. He said there, as I'll explain to you, I'll show a couple slides.
So who recently from the Canadian government said this?
Mona Nemer, who is the Dr. Mona Nemer, who is the science advisor to the Prime Minister of Canada. And we knew because we had discussions with Lou Elizondo and Mellon about doing this panel for 10 MPs in the Canadian government who were interested back in 2023, I think. It was a year before Gresh went public. And so we knew that this was going to be a cover. We were going to run this question thing for MPs, and that would be a cover for the science advisor to say, oh, we should investigate UFOs. That panel never took place, but Larry Maguire, the MP, who's no longer in Parliament, pushed the issue and did get her to do the report. So the report is now out, but basically it's the same old story. It says, we don't know what's going on. Nobody says it's extraterrestrial. Wilbur Smith didn't discover anything. He was working part-time. Please send your sightings in. And I say, please don't send your sightings in, because one of the things that people don't know, and this is a sort of a Yankee Black news item, there has been a meeting of the Five Eyes. There's a military alliance between Canada, United States, UK, Australia, and New Zealand called the Five Eyes, an intelligence exchange. And they had a meeting on UFOs at the end of March of this year. And do you think you're ever going to hear about it? You're never going to hear about it. What this is an attempt to get everybody to file their sightings and provide material which will end up in the U.S. military, and they're going to use it to create bombs. And I'll be damned if I'm going to hand them sightings so they can drop bombs on my grandson. This is basically the same old story. They're never going to tell you. They want you to send your material in. So I encourage people, give it to people who are running podcasts, make it public. Do not send it to the government, because they lie. They can't tell the truth, and they're basically wasting everybody's time and gathering material. All you're doing is helping them gather material. Here's another one of the quotes that Wilbur Smith, this is one of the ones I put on the internet, and I'll be putting all the various quotes on the internet as we go along. As you have heard, the government decided to drop further investigation of the flying saucer phenomena. This happened in August of 1954, after Wilbur Smith detected a flying saucer flying over the Flying Saucer Observatory at Shirley's Bay outside of Ottawa. He said they shut it down, but I am carrying on the work as a purely private project. They said you can keep going, but you can't use government material, and you're not, most importantly, you're not allowed to speak on behalf of the Canadian government. He said there was a number of reasons behind the decision to shut it down, which I can't go into, but they did not include a lack of results. Here's no, okay. So that's basically this story I want to sort of go for today. The report is out, and they're basically asking everybody to send in their reports and to the government, and we're going to arrange all this stuff and get everybody's sighting report, and it's going to be given to the Five Eyes. And as you can see, there's just a meeting, and they didn't tell us there was a meeting or what was in it, or what kind of sightings they've got, what they think is going on. This stuff is happening secretly behind the scenes. And the Yankee Black people, reporters, and people that are involved are going to do whatever they can to get that material and make it public. Thanks for today.